Welcome to my channel Young and the Restless Official, where you can get news about. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow, and I am your buddy. Now let's get started. The Young and the Restless spoilers show that Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, is experiencing another episode of mental health issues. This time, she is seeing Cameron Kirsten, Lyndon Ashby, in her mind, and is struggling with the past they have together. Most recently we saw Kirsten return to Genoa City hellbent on revenge. Kirsten kidnapped Faith Newman, Raylyn Castor, and strapped a bomb to her chest. Sharon was the one to take him down after she stabbed him with a knife she had strapped to herself. And while Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, declared him dead, these hallucinations have fans wondering if they're premonitions about what's coming. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Nick Nguyen saves Sharon Case. The first time that Sharon dealt with Kirsten, Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, was there to help save her, and this time around, he was there, though Sharon was the one who stabbed him. Now it looks like Nick may be the knight in shining armor coming to rescue Sharon from her mental torture. Viewers have been demanding the two be back together for years, and have declared them staples of the show and that they are meant to be together no matter what. Are these mental health issues really Sharon calling out for Nick to come back and be there for her? We know that we wouldn't mind seeing these two together again. YNR spoilers, Sharon Case gets in Phyllis Summers's face. Nick has spent a lot of time around Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and while Phyllis equates it to two people getting along for the sake of their daughter, Sharon isn't an idiot and knows that they have done far more than that. Their relationship has been far and above just friendly. With Sharon struggling right now, she may see Phyllis as a threat and what is keeping her from getting to Nick. This could result in some words being thrown back and forth and potentially another fight. We've seen them at each other's throats before, but this could be their biggest confrontation yet. Nick may have to step in and pull Sharon off of Phyllis before realizing just how much she needs him right now. This could lead to the two of them finally getting back together and having that relationship we've always wanted for them. What do you think? Would you like to see Sharon and Nick get back together? Share your thoughts and remember to keep watching the CBS soap to see what happens next. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with YNR right now. Come back here often for the Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. The sun cast a soft glow over Genoa City as another day began at Crimson Lights, the beloved coffeehouse that Sharon Newman had turned into a comforting haven for the town's residents. The smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, and the low hum of conversation provided a sense of normalcy. But behind the counter, Sharon felt anything but normal. The last few months had been an emotional roller coaster, and today was no exception. Sharon had always been a strong woman, facing life's challenges with grace and resilience. But the weight of her past traumas, combined with the recent turmoil surrounding her loved ones, was beginning to take its toll. As she prepared a cup of coffee for a regular customer, she caught a glimpse of her reflection in the mirror behind the counter. Dark circles under her eyes and a tired expression told the story of sleepless nights and endless worries. The door to Crimson Lights swung open, and in walked Nick Newman, Sharon's ex-husband and the father of two of her children. Nick had always been a pillar of strength in Sharon's life, even after their romantic relationship had ended. "Hey, Sharon," Nick greeted her as he approached the counter. His voice was warm, but there was an undertone of concern that Sharon couldn't ignore. "Nick," Sharon replied, forcing a smile. "What brings you by? Another busy day at Newman Enterprises?" Nick nodded, but his focus was entirely on Sharon. "Yeah, you know how it is. But I've been thinking about you. How are you holding up?" Sharon sighed and glanced around the coffeehouse. It was still early, and there weren't many customers yet. She leaned against the counter, her facade slipping just enough for Nick to see the vulnerability underneath. "I'm managing," she admitted softly. "Some days are harder than others." Nick's expression softened, and he reached out to gently touch her hand. You don't have to manage everything on your own, Sharon. You know I'm here for you, right? Sharon felt a lump form in her throat. Nick's unwavering support had always meant so much to her, even more so now that she was struggling. The truth was, she hadn't been okay for a while. The emotional scars from her battle with cancer, the loss of Ray, and the constant stress of trying to keep her life together were beginning to catch up with her. I know, Sharon whispered, her voice trembling slightly. But I don't want to burden you, Nick. You have your own life, your own responsibilities. Nick shook his head, his eyes locking onto hers with an intensity that made her heart ache. You're never a burden to me, Sharon. You've always been there for me, through everything. Let me be there for you now. Tears welled up in Sharon's eyes, but she blinked them back, unwilling to break down in front of Nick. She had always prided herself on being strong, but right now, she felt anything but. Nick noticed her struggle and took a step closer, his presence a comforting force. Sharon, you don't have to pretend with me. If you're hurting, if you're struggling, I want to know. We can figure it out together. Sharon's resolve finally crumbled, and she let out a shaky breath. I've been trying so hard to hold it all together, but it's getting harder, Nick. Some days, it feels like I'm drowning. Nick's heart broke for her, and without a second thought, he pulled her into a gentle embrace. Sharon stiffened at first, but then she let herself relax against him, the warmth of his arms providing a solace she hadn't felt in a long time. You're not alone, Nick murmured into her hair. You'll never be alone as long as I'm around. For a moment, they stood there in silence, holding on to each other as if they were the only two people in the world. Sharon could feel the weight of her worry start to lift, just a little, as she leaned on Nick's strength. He had always been her rock, even when they weren't together, and in that moment, she was reminded of why they had once been so deeply in love. But as the embrace lingered, a flicker of doubt crept into Sharon's mind. Could this be the start of something more, or was she just seeking comfort in a familiar place? She pulled back slightly, looking up at Nick with searching eyes. Nick, I don't want to complicate things, she said hesitantly. We've both been through so much. I'm not sure what this means. Nick gave her a small, reassuring smile. Sharon, right now, all that matters is that you're okay. We don't have to figure everything out today. Let's just take it one step at a time. Sharon nodded, grateful for his understanding. Thank you, Nick. I don't know what I'd do without you. You'll never have to find out, Nick replied, his voice filled with quiet determination. As the day went on and the coffeehouse began to fill with customers,